Everyone. So LeBron James signed the extension and committed to the Los Angeles Lakers. Now the Lakers are in a position to go and get assets to try to upgrade this team, right? You have the Buddy Hield, Miles Turner deal. Obviously, Kyrie Irving is the grand prize. You have, the Knicks deal and the Jazz deal and all these other deals that have been rumored around the Los Angeles Lakers. Before, it was a little hesitant, right? Do you really want to give up your draft picks and give up whatever little assets you have and you don't have the commitment of LeBron James? Well, LeBron committed and now you're good to go. Now it makes sense to take on salary. The Lakers could free up as much as $31 million. I did a full salary breakdown. I'll link that video down in the description below if you want to know how the Lakers can get to $31 million. But realistically, the Lakers will probably have about $20 million as it stands, no pun intended, unless they make a deal, right? Obviously, they do the Buddy Hield, Miles Turner deal, or they do, the Kyrie deal. They're probably going to take on Joe Harris, and then that becomes null and void. But it makes sense at this point because you have LeBron James locked on long term. You want to get some other players to put around him to make him a contender as long as his tenure with the Lakers is there. Now, this is where Kyrie Irving or bust comes in. Now, the Lakers either have to get Kyrie Irving now or they have to stand pat if they want Kyrie. And you might be thinking, why? That makes no sense. Well, let's look at the Miles Turner and Buddy Hield deal. Now, the Lakers, again, have about $20 million next season. If they go do a deal for Buddy Hield, who basically makes $20 million next season, the Lakers do no longer have that salary space. And you're taking on Miles Turner, who is a free agent. So do you just rent Miles Turner for a year and you just gave up all your picks and everything? Or do you sign him to an extension, which now he has to be okay with, which you're not going to do the deal unless Miles Turner says, yeah, if you trade for me, I will sign an extension with you guys and I will ride it out with you guys. That would be great. But you're stuck with Buddy Hield and Miles Turner for the long haul because you're not going to be able to unload those guys to go now free up cap space to get Kyrie Irving. So if you don't do the Kyrie trade and you move on to Buddy Hield and Miles Turner, that's it for Kyrie. You can forget about Kyrie Irving ever next season or even this season because now you've locked up your money long term. And is Buddy Hield and Miles Turner better than getting Kyrie Irving? That's something that, you guys can debate down in the comment section below. But if they do that deal, yes, it's a great deal. But I don't think the Lakers are going to do any deals until they know that Kyrie Irving is unavailable. If they can't get Kyrie this season, they will probably talk to LeBron James and say, what do you want to do? We can either go do the Pacers deal and that's it. You're not getting Kyrie. Or we can go and, just stand pat. You ride it out for the year, hope for the best, expect the worst, and then maybe Kyrie comes next season. Also, you have to count on Kyrie coming. And you're not going to be able to give Kyrie the full max. You give him pretty close. Like I said, just under $32 million. 31.9 is the max that the Lakers could get. And then therefore they could just basically give that all to Kyrie. Kyrie could come. He's only losing out on like $4 or $5 million. I'm sure he'll be okay and he'd be willing to take that. We know Kyrie will do whatever it takes. But this point, it is Kyrie or bust. If LeBron didn't sign that extension, he kept the flexibility, now you can explore the things. Now if you get Buddy Hield and Miles Turner, you can kind of work with LeBron to figure out what do you want to do. Do you want to let Buddy Hield go? LeBron, then you're going to have to take a pay cut. Or not Buddy Hield, sorry, Miles Turner. You let Miles Turner go. Okay, you're going to have to take a pay cut if we want to get Kyrie Irving. Would a LeBron do that? Well, now that's out of the question. Now LeBron is locked into the max, which is fine because now you have that commitment and now you know what you have to work with and you know what you can do to go and acquire a Kyrie Irving or the Buddy Hield, Miles Turner deal. Lakers make no sense to do any other deal at this point unless it's just for salary space, right? Like let's say you unload Westbrook, you get Bogdanovich, and you get Patrick Beverley and some other expiring contract, right? Okay, in that case, cool, because then you're just, swapping out expiring deals. But if you can't do a deal like that and the Jazz want you to take on salary, that's it. You're stuck with those guys for the long term. And are you willing to basically give up your first round picks to go and get those players? Because those guys aren't long-term players for the Lakers. And the Lakers don't want to lock themselves into a deal. So a lot of the rumored deals are completely off the table now. if you're the Lakers. Now it's essentially Kyrie Irving or bust. If Kyrie isn't available and you're not going to be able to get him, and LeBron's like, I don't want to wait for Kyrie, then go do the Pacers deal. And that's the team you got, which isn't terrible. I mean, you got Miles Turner, Anthony Davis, Buddy Hield, and LeBron James locked up for the next, 3 to 4 years. That's not a bad idea at all. Is that a contender? I don't know. I mean, it depends. Some people think it is. Some people don't. Again, that's for you to debate down in the comment section below. But Kyrie, if you really want Kyrie Irving as a Laker fan, or the Lakers just want Kyrie Irving, you have to wait. You have to be patient at this point. Now, I don't think LeBron signed that extension unless he knows something. I'm sure that him and the Lakers organization have already worked it out. He's probably said, wait to see what happens with Kyrie Irving, bare minimum. Wait to see what happens with Kyrie Irving. If Kyrie Irving is off table, go do this deal over here, which would likely be the Miles Turner and Buddy Hield deal. LeBron's probably in the loop. I don't see LeBron James signing an extension knowing all the circumstances, because he knows everything I know and more, because he's the smartest player arguably ever when it comes to on-court and off-the-court matters and the way the salary cap works and the way that everything in the NBA works. This guy is about as good as it gets. So when saying that, there's no way that LeBron randomly signed a contract extension on a Wednesday on a whim because he woke up and just, had a good breakfast or something. No, him and the Lakers worked something out. He knows something, whether it's Kyrie Irving or Buddy Hield and Miles Turner. But I just wanted to make this video to explain to you that it's Kyrie Irving or bust now if you ever want to get Kyrie. Their best scenario is to trade for Kyrie now. Now, will they be able to trade for Kyrie? That's ultimately up to the Nets. And if the Nets aren't willing to trade Kyrie, what do you do if you're the Lakers? Do you move on and just say, okay, let's go get Buddy Hield and Miles Turner? Or do you say, let's stand pat, run it this year and see what happens, and then try to make a play for Kyrie Irving? Because Kyrie Irving has, based on reports, has told everybody, look, I'm going to the Lakers either this year via trade, or I'll ride out this year and then I'll go sign with the Lakers next year. Also, will Kyrie Irving change his mind? Would he be okay with not a full max? Because he's not going to be able to get a full max. You're not going to be able to get to a full max for Kyrie Irving. You can get pretty close if you need to. But do the Lakers even want to get him a full max? Again, I don't think any team is going to give Kyrie Irving the full max. So I'm not really worried about the Lakers acquiring Kyrie Irving if they need to, if they sign. But that means riding with Russell Westbrook for another year. Do the Lakers want to do that? Do the Lakers really feel that they can compete with Russell Westbrook this year? And is LeBron going to be okay with riding with Russell Westbrook this year? Is the fans going to be okay with riding with Russell Westbrook for another year? Because that's the only way you can get Kyrie Irving if you don't trade for him now. So the Lakers need to push all the chips to the table right now and say, hey, we want Kyrie Irving. Here's the deal. Now, this does, whether you believe it or not, or you realize it or not, LeBron James signing the extension actually becomes a leverage play for the Lakers. Because a big thing, and it's something that has been talked about by various other people that are more qualified than I am, they've all said the same thing, which is true, that a lot of these teams were hoping LeBron wouldn't sign that extension because that puts the pressure on the Lakers to give up the max that they can give up to go get a Kyrie Irving or something like that. Now that you have the commitment of LeBron James, if you're the Lakers, you can kind of play hardball. Now, at the end of the day, I do think the Lakers will go all in and do whatever it takes to get Kyrie, but you can kind of play hardball now. You're starting to see the reports that the Lakers are willing to give up 2 firsts now, but they're only willing to do it for Kyrie Irving. They're not willing to do it for Buddy Hield and Miles Turner, because Buddy Hield and Miles Turner, you're doing the Pacers a favor. You're helping them move off a salary for next season. Yes, they're taking on Westbrook, but they're just going to buy him out. So they're going to have to pay the salary regardless, whether it's in Buddy Hield and Miles Turner or it's in Russell Westbrook. And you're getting something in return for Miles Turner rather than nothing, right? Because that's currently what it is. Miles Turner probably isn't going to re-sign with the Indiana Pacers. So if he doesn't, are the Pacers okay with letting him walk? But up until this point, the Pacers were like, no, we want both first-round picks. And you need to do something because LeBron James doesn't want to commit. Well, guess what? LeBron James just committed. So now we don't have to do that anymore. So you could get something for Miles Turner or you could get nothing. So what would you like to do? We're doing you a favor. You're the ones that are making out. You're getting a first-round pick. Lakers would probably throw in a couple seconds. So let's say 2 seconds. They're like, hey, look, we'll give you a first-round pick and maybe THT, or we'll give you a first-round pick and, 2 or 3 seconds. Here you go. You can have some second-round picks and a first-round pick. Give us those 2 guys. We're helping you clear off your books for the next 2 seasons. We're actually helping you, and you're getting some assets in return. Otherwise, keep Miles Turner, let him walk, and maybe we just sign him next year. And we don't have to do Buddy Hield. There's options there. Same thing with the trade for Kyrie Irving. The Lakers, the Nets were looking at it as like, hey, you have to give up everything because you have no choice. LeBron wants Kyrie. And there are reports still that LeBron is in the Lakers' ear saying, go get Kyrie Irving. Whatever it takes, go get Kyrie Irving. And so now the Lakers, again, I'm sure will give up whatever it takes, but the Lakers can play a little hardball. Hey, we got LeBron locked in for the next 3 seasons, 2 seasons at the minimum. We could just wait for Kyrie Irving. So tell you what, if you want to play hardball and you want to run and you don't think Kyrie Irving will leave you and come to the Lakers, fine, keep Kyrie. LeBron's already accepted the fact that he might be playing with Westbrook. Now, whether that's the case or not, that's your argument, right? LeBron has already accepted running it back with Westbrook for another year and then just signing Kyrie next year. So what do you want to do? How hard do you want to play this? That is a huge leverage play for the Lakers because before the Lakers were just at the bend and will of the Brooklyn Nets and the Pacers. So at this point, again, it is Kyrie Irving or bust. It is the Lakers need to go all in on Kyrie and acquire Kyrie now, or they have to stand pat if they want Kyrie Irving. Now, if they're okay with just getting Miles Turner and Buddy Hield, and LeBron's like, hey, look, I want to win now. I want to compete now. We get these guys. We can compete for the next couple seasons. Let's do that rather than waiting on Kyrie, maybe or maybe not he comes. Then I think they'll do that deal. But don't be surprised if they can't get Kyrie Irving, that they just wait and stand pat. I really think that that's a possibility now because LeBron signed that extension. But as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below. What do you think? Do you think the Lakers, yes, go all in on Kyrie Irving? Do you think, forget it, forget Kyrie Irving, go get the Buddy Hield, Miles Turner deal, lock them up long term. Now you got Buddy Hield, Miles Turner, Anthony Davis, LeBron James for the next, 3-4 years. You're good to go. Let's do that. That's enough to build around for this year and next season. You're a contender. Let's make it happen. However you feel about it, I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. That being said, hit that like button. Helps me out a lot. Lets me know you enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. If you're not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button, followed by the bell notification. Stay up to date with all things sports. Join this wonderful community and all of our discussions. I'll see you all in the next one. Thank you.